So I have a question. What do you think will happen to the interest rates this year with the Fed raising rates consequently so much? And what do you think will happen with the house prices? Oh, okay. Well, I think that the interest rates will continue to rise. All right, they have to because and they need to match or the fake CPI, which they will bring down CPI, the CPI actually, to match with the interest rates and make it a little bit higher than make the interest rates higher than the CPI. They have to in order to give well, it's more like perception actually. It's to create a false perception that inflation is not affecting prices of food and stuff like that, even though it is and it will continue to do so. They need to have that perception so that most people at the top, they're the ones with the most amount of wealth. They want them to believe that this is real, that hey, you know what, this inflation number is real and so forth, that you shouldn't have to like put your money into different crops and food and all that kind of stuff. it, that's why they need this particular perception to go on. And yeah, most wealthy people don't see what's going on now because they have lots of dollars. Why they have to waste their time? The price of food does not affect them. The price of oil does not affect them at all. So with that said, housing prices, I really think that housing prices have to come down based on this increasing in the interest rates because now your payments have to be higher. And if your payments are higher, that means you can only afford a cheaper house. Plain and simple. Now, people were saying out there that, oh no, just because the interest rates are higher, you're not paying a higher amount, the huge amount. Yeah, they're saying like it's only $60, $50, or whatever it is. It's a lot more than that, right? That you have to pay, depending on your deposit, of course, and all that kind of stuff, right? It is going to reduce the amount of house the average person can pay for because everyone has to go into debt in order to buy a house today. In fact, somebody was showing me how many millionaires in the United States. It was like 22 million millionaires. And then I asked the question, how many houses are over $1 million? And the answer is more than there are millionaires. And so if that's the case, right? He didn't tell me how many, but he did say more than there are millionaires. If that's the case, then there you are. You have a problem. The housing prices have to come down so that those people who want to buy a house, they can actually afford it, the payments on the house. They're not millionaires if they're buying $1 million house because that's a liability that balances out on the balance sheet. So they don't own $1 million worth of assets. It's only if they buy it outright does it become a asset on their balance sheet. But a house is never an asset, if you ask me. It's actually a large liability. You should never treat it as an asset, or else you're going to lose in the long run. Trust me. Here's why. I'm gonna drop a little knowledge on you. A house in Venezuela is like fully furnished, everything you need, right? Great, and a condo, about $10,000, but it's worth trillions in bolivars, trillions and trillions in bolivars. This is what the real value is based on the life based after hyperinflation. This is what's going to happen in the United States. They're going to inflate the currency, and no one's going to be able to borrow money. Just like no one can borrow those trillions of dollars in bolivars because they know they're going to be worthless because they're going to print some more. So that's the problem there. And so in the future, the housing prices, the value, whether it's priced in the Bitcoin or dollars, doesn't matter, the new dollar, right? Or the old dollar, right? it's going to, the value of that house and what you can buy with that when it converts to dollars is going to drop significantly. So when you think you stored your wealth in your house, you did not. It is fiction, because as long as someone can print money to buy the house, the value will continue to increase. That will wipe out housing values everywhere once the dollar and this whole fiat system comes to an end, and it will come to an end in your lifetime. Guaranteed, absolute. There's no way other than that, because you cannot have a system that grows on exponential growth, right? Our debt-based system requires exponential debt and exponential growth, and you can't have it. So since that can't happen, there is an end point. Just like you can't have a Ponzi scheme, right? Grow forever. What's a Ponzi scheme? Is when somebody says, hey, invest here, I'll give you 13%, but they don't invest in anything that will actually grow at 13%. They just take some other people's money and pay you the interest from that money, and they don't invest anything. Now, that can work for a while as long as there's more people investing, but it can't work forever. That's the point. The same with our financial system. Hope you've learned something. Hope you understand this. Because if you don't, there's two ways to understand it. One is to understand it because there's lots of information explaining this, and you learn and then do something about it, or you can wait and go, hey, what the fuck happened? And then learn what happened. So, which way is best? All right. Thank you for watching. Thanks for the question, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.